Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mga kapatid, ngayon ay magpapasalamat tayo sa Allah. Binigyan tayo ng pagkakataon, buhay pa tayo, humihinga pa tayo hanggang ngayon. At ang pangalawa, inshallah, ang subject na aking tatalakayin ngayon ay tungkol po kay Ishmael at Isaac. Okay? At kinuha ko itong clips galing kay Rabbi Simon Jacobson. I'm going to thank of his effort, of his delivery. I got this clip from him talking about the life of Ishmael and Isaac, the children, the two sons of Abraham. Kasi ito ay nakita ko nga mayroong although hindi naman tama lahat in our Islamic point of view, pero mayroong magandang mga bagay na mapupulot sa kanyang binabahagi sa atin mga kapatid. So, kukunin ko ito at i-share sa inyo.
Hello everyone, Simon Jacobson here, Meaningful Live. In our new biblical series of taking biblical events and demonstrating their personal, psychological, and emotional relevance to our lives, including at times as well of giving us a deeper understanding in world history and the conflicts of our present times, ultimately all leading us to be able to understand ourselves and our world in better ways, to be able to come up with real solutions to create a better life and a better world. That's a summation of this new series. So in that spirit, I want to speak to you today and talk about a major, you can say, conflict and confrontation. Some call it a clash of civilizations that affects us at times more obvious than others, but on an ongoing basis that can be traced back to close to 3,800 years ago to the home and tent of Abraham. Yes, Abraham, the patriarch, the biblical patriarch. So we'll title this program, we shall title A Meaningful Life, Ishmael and Isaac, a timeless family feud.
Sa kanyang title, A Timeless Family Feud. Ang ibig sabihin, walang hangganan, timeless, walang hangganang pamilya feud. Ibig sabihin yung pagkakaiba or pagkontra, feud, yung pagkontra, hindi nagkakaintindihan. Ito ang titulo ng kanyang delivery ngayon. Okay, a timeless feud between Isaac and Ishmael.
And personalities and events that it gives us the root of events before they became amplified and became on a national and global level. So here we have the story of Abraham. Abraham has a child called Ishmael with Hagar, because Abraham was unable to have children with his wife Sarah. Sarah suggested have a child with Hagar, and they give birth to a child called Ishmael. Then, miraculously, Abraham and Sarah are able to have a child, and they do have a child later called Isaac. Isaac and Ishmael are an interesting study, because they would both be progenitors of nations to come. Ishmael is the father and ancestor of the Arab and later Muslim world. Isaac, the ancestor and father and patriarch of the Jewish world. And the plot thickens, which we'll talk about in coming weeks, because Isaac would have two children, twins, Jacob and Esau, and Esau is the ancestor and father of Rome, of the Western Roman Christian world.
At least dito isang rabbi na nagsasabi na si Ishmael, ito ang grandfather sa mga Arabs. Meaning from Abraham to Ishmael, then to the Arabs and to the Muslim, sabi na itong rabbi, which is partially wrong. Because Muslim did not generate from Muhammad did not start from Ismail. It start from the very beginning of course through Abraham. Imagine Abraham, the father of faith. He had two children according to the well-known writings of the Bible. Ismail, the eldest son, and ang kasunod niyang anak ay si Isaac. Both of them nagmamahalan, mga anak. Mahal, imagine ikaw tatay ka, si Ismail, anak mo, hindi mo mamahalin. May anak ka sa Isaac, hindi mo mamahalin. Of course, mahal niya. Tuturuan niyang ibang relihiyon ang kanyang anak sa Isaac. Tuturuan din niya ibang relihiyon ang kanyang anak na mahal ay si Ismail. Hindi. Of course, kung anong relihiyon niya, anong pananampalataya ni Ibrahim, the same na tinuturo niya sa kanyang dalawang anak, and which we Muslim believe because many times the name of Isaac mentioned in the Quran. Isaac, na very clear sa Quran na sa 100 Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 136 and Surah Al-Ali Imran chapter 3 verse 84. Very clear. Kula amana billahi wa ma unzila ilayna wa ma unzila ila Ibrahim wa Ismail wa Ishaq. Sinasabi ng Ishaq sa Isaac. So, ang aming revelasyon nga binigay, sabihin mo Muhammad, nga paniniwalaan ang revelasyon nga binigay kay Abraham, kang Ismail, kang Isaac. So, we Muslim, we believe also Isaac was a Muslim. Ismail was a Muslim and Abraham also a Muslim. Because Muslim, meaning a Muslim, a person who submitted himself to the will of God. This is our belief.
So we're focusing on what this week's chapter that talks about Isaac and Ishmael, but you see how the plot thickens, how it broadens. And when you can understand that they were in conflict, it can help us understand how their children and descendants that ultimately became nations of their own have conflicts, because they did begin with ideological, spiritual conflicts. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. This feud between Ishmael and Isaac, half brothers, both shared a father called Abraham, two different mothers. And you find that
as Muslim, we do not believe ito si Ismael at sa Isaac mayroon silang feud. Ibig sabihin, mayroon silang hatred bawat isa sa ila. Hindi kami naniniwala po. Kami mga Muslim. Because both, they are guided by Allah. Okay? Si Ismail, guided by Allah as a prophet, and also Isaac, guided by Allah. Both prophet, hindi pwedeng magkakontrahay sila. Magkakontrahay sila. Ito ang nagturo nito, magkakontrahay sila, mayroong feudalism, etc. Itong mga Christians and Jewish people. But you ask the Muslim, kung naniwala po kami nito, na nagkontrahan, mayroong hatred kay Ismail, mayroong hatred sa Isaac, bawat isa sa kanila, Muslim, wala nito. We don't believe it. Because both Isaac and Ismail, sila ay mga propeta nagmula kay Allah. We don't believe na mayroon silang hatred sa kanilang puso.
Sarah, the mother of Isaac, tells Abraham, Ishmael is a bad influence on Isaac. I want you to send them away. And he does. He doesn't want to, but he sends Ishmael and his mother, Hagar, away. God protects them, but they were sent away. What was
dito sa nasabi niya, and even the Bible, na si Ishmael daw ay, at si yung mag-ina, si Hagar, according to the story, ay napakita ng pagyayabang, arogante, at bandang huli ay si Sarah nagsabi kay Ibrahim nga, ikwan mo ito, itapon mo sa disyerto. So, granting nga totoo yan. So, nagbigay ng bad image si Sarah. Bakit? Yung salita ba lang ni Sarah? Paniniwalaan, no? Abraham was a prophet. Do you think a prophet will just believe and follow the wife without the guidance of the Creator? Pag sinasabi na itapon mo ito sa disyerto, ganon. Siyempre, wala pang kabahayan noon. Dalhin sila sa disyerto, iwanan doon. Kung ito ay totoo, sumunod si Ibrahim kay Sarah nga itapon itong mag-ina sa malayong lugar, ay ang commander-in-chief pala si Sarah, hindi ang nandoon sa itaas. Sa aming paniniwala ang mga Muslim, yung dinala ni Ibrahim ang kanyang asawa nga si Hagar at si Ishmael, by the order of Allah, dinala niya ito, doon niya dinala sa aming paniniwala, doon sa Makkah. Yung mga Muslim ngayon nga magsai, mayroong tinatawag nga asai, yung Safa and Marwa. Historically, traditionally, diyan po nagmula ang istorya ni Hagar at ni Ishmael, yung lumaki na yung Makkah. Ang istorya, mahaba itong istorya dyan. Okay? So, dinala doon ni Abraham at yung tumalikod na si Abraham, may dala-dala silang tubig, pagkain, baon, iniwanan niya doon si Hagar na walang katao-tao. Disyerto yung lugar na yan, disyerto, bundok yan, mga bato yan, walang punong kahoy diyan. Tapos, yung umalis na si Abraham, si Hagar sa istorya, Islamic story, tinawag niya Abraham or Ibrahim. Hanggang hindi lumingon si Ibrahim, hanggang sumigaw si Hagar, "Is this the will of Allah? Ito ba'y utos ng Allah sa iyo na iiwanan mo kami dito? Walang mga kapitbahay, walang mga tao, walang hindi kami mabubuhay dito. Ito ba ay utos ng Allah sa iyo?" Lumingon si Ibrahim alayhisalam, sabi niya, "Oo." Sumagot naman ang asawa, sabi niya, "By the will of Allah, kung kagustuhan ng Allah, hindi kami niya pababayaan." Sa madaling story, itong story nga ito ay lumabas nga yung tubig eh. Yung tubig, yung si Hagar ay naubusan na sila ng tubig at umiiyak na siya, naghahanap siya ng tubig dahil mamamatay na sa uhaw siya at ang kanyang anak. Naabutan niya na ang anghel, nandoon ay lumabas ang tubig sa of course doon sa lugar kung saan naroroon si Ishmael. Ang story diyan. Hanggang ang mga ibon ay dumami doon kasi may mga ibon na nakakilala kung ang lugar may tubig o wala. Hanggang ang mga travelers, sabi nila, mga caravan, sabi nila, yung mga ibon sa ibabaw, sigurado tayo nga may tubig dyan. Nag-alalis pa sila, nag-argue pa. No, imposible. Palagi tayong dumadaan dyan, walang tubig dyan. Pero sabi naman ng iba, imposible. Yung ibon na yan, yung nakita natin mga ibon na yan, hindi yan mangyayari na walang tubig sa baba. So pinuntahan nila doon, na-shock sila. Dahil nandoon ang mag-ina, yung tubig na umaagos. Sabi ni Hagar, "Huwag niyong galawin, akin ito, ako may-ari nito, akin ito ang tubig." So, siyempre sila sa takot din, anong nangyayari, bakit may tubig dito, parang na-shock din sila. Sabi nila, "Pwede ba dito lang kami, iinom kami, tapos may dala-dala kami ng pagkain, barter tayo." Sa madaling sabi, lumaganap doon, nakatira yung mga caravans doon, dumami sila, hanggang si Ishmael ay doon siya nakapag-asawa. Itong mga tao ay sa tribe ng Jurhum, mula ito sa Yemen, yung mga tao dito. Pero mahaba itong story. Ipapatuloy lang natin decide dito. Ang Rabbi ang nag-istorya dito about Isaac and Ishmael. At least pinupulot ko lang ang mga bagay na kung saan ay ito ay nag-connect sa istorya or the life of Ishmael according to Islam.
The conflict there. And it doesn't really state it. It just says there was something going on. But when you look into the soul, the spiritual and mystical and esoteric teachings, you discover Abraham had done something revolutionary, pioneering. Abraham introduced the idea that life is not egocentric, but God-centric. In simple English, we're not here just to serve ourselves. We're here to serve others, to serve a higher cause, to experience a higher state of consciousness, and to connect to a higher reality. This was a pioneering and trailblazing approach to life because it countered everything that was going on in his world.
Yun ang kahulugan sa Islam. Na nilikha tayo ng Allah, hindi para sa ating sarili lamang. Nilikha tayo ng Allah para pagsunod sa Kanya. Sinawag niya na hindi tayo egocentric, kundi ginilikha tayo ng Panginoon para sa Kanya. That's why nga sa Quran, sabi ng Allah sa Quran, "Wa ma khalaqtul jin wal ins illa liya'budun." Nilikha ko ang mga jin, yung hindi nakikita, at mga tao, illa liya'budun, para lamang ako sasambahin. So to be a human being existing on this planet, why God created human being? No other reason that in order to worship Him, to follow Him, to follow His order, to submit to the Creator. This is the meaning of Islam from the very beginning. This is the meaning of Islam. Meaning you have to submit your will to the will of Allah, not to your lust, not to your material only, but focus yourself to the will of Allah. This is Islam.
The pagan world focused far more on control and power, materialism, and success on that level. You can say it's not surprising. We still have that conflict, don't we? But Abraham did introduce the father of monotheism, the father of all nations, became the patriarch, became the prophet that all major religions follow. Of course, Judaism first, Christianity and Islam. And even, they say, Buddhism. You have words like Brahmin and other words, many words that seem to associate with Brahmin as in Abraham.
To human being na naman lang nito, nagsabi nga, Abraham, the source of three major religion, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which can disagree. Why? Because Abraham was not a Judaism. Judaism did not start from Abraham. Kasi ang tinatawag niya Judaism ay from the name Judah. Sino si Judah? The eldest son of Jacob. It's either be a name of a place or a name of a person. Judah, the eldest son of Jacob. How come he called Judaism si Ibrahim alayhi salam? Hindi siya matawag na Judaism. So the Quran mentioned that Abraham neither a Jew nor a Christian. But he was a Muslim according to our Quran. So, sa pagsabi niya dito na, although the Christian also have this mentality na these three monotheistic religion, Christianity is not monotheistic. Christianity believe in three gods. Their philosophy, three gods but one God. Three persons in one God. This is paganism actually. Paganism. Even the Jew call it paganism. Polytheism. So we don't believe nga si Abraham teaches Christianity. Even Jesus did not teach Christianity. Even Jesus Christ. I had been debating with this in the New Testament where in the Bible that Jesus Christ nagtuturo siya ng Christianity. Wala. So we believe that Abraham, according to the Quran, his religion is Islam, submission to the will of Allah, and his children, progenies, and our belief, they were Muslims.
Which isn't surprising because the Bible does talk about Abraham sending his children with a certain set of beliefs and philosophies to the east. However you turn it, Abraham is a key figure in understanding the future of the world. Because had Abraham introduced the concept, as we're told, of justice, of virtue, of kindness, of compassion, that yes, we forego our own personal comforts and our own self-interest for being virtuous, being kind. That's what Abraham dedicated himself and his family to. So here he has two children.
Nasabi niya by virtues, ang magandang attributes niya sinasabi niya tungkol kay Abraham, 100%. We said yes. Pinadala si Abraham para sa kanyang mga anak. Tinuturuan niya ito bago nga siya namatay. Tinatawag niya ang mga anak na huwag kayong mamatay kung hindi kayo Muslim. Sinasabi ng Allah sa Quran, wala tamutunna illa wa antum muslim. Wala tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Huwag kayong mamatay na hindi kayo mga Muslim. Sabi ng Abraham, quoted by Allah in the Quran.
Ishmael and Isaac. Seemingly all's good. They're both following Abraham's path. It should lead to only harmony and beautiful peace. And yet it wasn't so simple. Because Abraham did live in a time.
Ito mismo si Rabbi Simon nagsabi nga si Ishmael at Isaac sumusunod sa kanilang tatay nga si Abraham without any conflict. Siya mismo nagsabi.
Of tensions. What that means is the material world was not ready to just surrender to spirituality and to higher consciousness. Maybe they would if it was on their terms, back to control. How do you deal with a world, a material world that's hostile to spiritual, ethereal, and refined values?
Dito lang ko puputulin mga kapatid. Actually, kinuha ko lang ito, clip na ito, para lamang magpapatunay na ang kaming mga Muslim ay hindi kami lumabas butas sa kawayan. Hindi kami lumabas sa kawayan ba? Yung ano ba lang, buho ng sabi na anak ka sa kawayan. Hindi. Ito ang pinapapatunayan ko lamang, taking these clips, pagpapatunay na even the non-Muslim, itong rabbi na ito, nagpapatunay na ang mga Muslim, itong mga Arabo ay kay Ishmael. At si Ishmael ay sumusunod sa kanyang ama. At sa Isaac, sumusunod din sa kanyang ama. Imposible naman na si Abraham walang relihiyon. At hindi mangyayari Judaism ang kanyang relihiyon. This is a wrong history of the Jewish people and the Christian. Paano maging Judaism ang relihiyon ni Abraham? Kasi ang Judaism from the name Judah, it's either be from the son of Jacob, the eldest son Judah, or the place called Judah in Palestine. So kasi Palestine ito, in the beginning there's no map of Israel, baka ma-misunderstood niyo. During the time of Abraham, even prior to 1948, even the Second World War, there was no name Israel nga bansa, nation. The nation, country, pangalan na itong tinatawag na Israel, well, already formulated, naging Israel na bansa in 1948 after the Second World War during the British Mandate Ben Gurion in Middle East. Noon, ang itinatawag na Israel ay itong mga anak ni Jacob, mga angkan, tribes ito, ang yung Israel. Hindi ito bansa. Naging bansa na sila sa panahon ng after the Second World War. Okay? At tandaan natin mga kapatid, na kaming mga Muslim, hindi kami pwedeng tawagin ng Muslim if we hate Isaac. Kung sisiraan namin si Isaac, ganito, ganyan, hindi kami matawag na Muslim. Sisiraan namin si Nabi Isa alayhis salam, hindi kami matawag na Muslim. Siraan namin si Moses, hindi kami matawag na Muslim. Dahil ang Muslim ay naniniwala na lahat ng mga propeta pinadala na Allah ay sila ay magkakapatid. Isa lang po ang dala-dala nila, walang iba kundi pagtuturo nga mayroong sambahin na isang tagapakita. Ito, pagpapatunay, dagdagan ko pa, ang closeness ni Isaac at Ishmael, ang closeness nila. Ngayong pagkamatay ni Abraham, according to the record of Genesis chapter 25, I will read, okay, verse 7, started from verse 7 up to verse 9, I will quote, Abraham lived 175 years. 175 years. Then Abraham breathed his last and died at a good old age, an old man and full of years. And he was gathered to his people, his sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Macpelah, near Mamre. Unquote. So ito nagpapatunay, imagine, nagkasama pa sila sa paglilibing sa kanilang tatay, si Ishmael at Isaac. At eldest, tandaan natin na eldest son si Ishmael. Eldest son siya. At ito mga kapatid, malaking bagay ito, intindihin natin. Dahil sa mga hindi mga Muslim, mga Kristiyano, akala siguro nila, we hate Isaac. No. So tandaan natin na kaming mga Muslim, lahat ng mga prophet mentioned in the Quran, we respect them. Kung mayroon man kaming hinanakit, hatred, hindi kami pwede tawagin na Muslim dahil contrary po sa aming paniniwala na lahat pong mga propeta like Isaac, Abraham, Jesus Christ, and Moses, kahit man anong tribo nila, anong race nila, lahat sila ay mga Muslim. Ang Muslim po, tandaan natin, is not a race, kundi affiliation ito sa isang tao na sumusunod sa kagustuhan ng tagapaglikha. Walang iba kundi pagsunod, itong tinatawag na Islam, pag-surrender sa kagustuhan ng isang tagapaglikha. Walang iba kundi ang tinatawag na Islam. Ang sumusunod nito ay tinatawag na Muslim. Hindi ito rasa, hindi ito nasyon, hindi ito pangalan sa mga tribo, itong pagiging Muslim, kundi ito ay pangalan ng ibig sabihin tao na sumusunod sa batas ni Allah na pagsunod sa kanyang kagustuhan. Maraming salamat po mga kapatid sa inyong panonood. Subhanakallah, Allahumma bihamdika, asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.